Good morning. I am heading into work, and today I have an appointment that I'm going to, and I am likely going to be riding with my boss. Not that it's an absolute necessity, but that is likely what's going to happen. Well, I'm sharing this because he's always had a big truck with no running board, or I guess that's what it's called, to get like up into the truck. And even though he has a different truck than when I first started at my job, I have not been into this truck yet. Anyways, I'm having anxiety about whether I'll be able to get into his truck. This is a fat and short issue, but mostly a short issue because, one, when you're shorter, it's harder to climb up into things, but two, when you're fat, it's absolutely harder to climb up into things. So when you're both, it's like, so I'm having, as I stutter, oh, anxiety. I'm having some anxiety about getting up into his truck. And this is stuff that like straight sized people, especially anybody who's like not super short. I'm barely 5 feet, y'all. Like, I barely hit 5 feet. So people who aren't super short don't really know this struggle. But yeah, the anxiety of getting up into someone else's vehicle it's making me a little bit panicky. I don't know how else to say it. And it, really makes me think about the fact that, like, for the most part, I don't experience the overwhelming sense of, oh, this world is not made for fat people all the time. Like, I mean, it's there all the time. But prior to coming to a place where I am not only like body positive, but fat liberationist, like, prior to coming to that, like, there were things all the time that I worried about. Like, if I went out to eat, would I be able to fit in the booth? And if I weren't able to fit, would I be able to say, hey, not enough space here, can we sit somewhere else? Like, those are all things that I panicked about before, and I don't panic about anymore. But like, it is so uncommon for me to have to ride in someone else's vehicle, mostly because I get car sick, so I choose not to ride in most people's vehicles anyways. But yeah, so I just thought I'd share that, because the truth is the truth. And today the truth is that I am spending an inordinate amount of time thinking about how I'm going to get up into a vehicle that will probably actually be not that bad. And I will probably be able to get into it without a whole bunch of struggle. Yeah, I had this panic years ago when I rode with my brother to Tennessee. And he has a truck that's slightly lifted. Or it seems slightly lifted. Maybe it's not, but to me it feels like it is. And I panicked about getting in and out of it because we were going on a long road trip and we were going to be there for a couple days, and I panicked a lot. And there were a couple times when I struggled because we would park near something that, like, I couldn't use the curb to help me get up, or we would park where there's like a pothole literally right where I get out, and so like getting back in was gonna be a problem. And I just, it's amazing to me. And this is an issue. Like, listen, I have 2 legs that do work, and I experience these things. So like, if you have lesser mobility, or even not lesser mobility, but like a different mobility issue, these are things that like people just don't tend to think about. And I'm not saying that someone else needs to modify their vehicle in case someone short tries to get into it, or in case someone fat is going to sit in it, or in case I'm not saying that your personal vehicle needs to be made like an Uber and accessible for all. What I am saying is that some thought needs to be put into the ways in which a very simple and a very commonplace thing to you might not be something that is so simple or commonplace to someone else. And just getting in and out of a vehicle. It's the same situation for like really tall people or really fat people or both trying to get really low down into a sports car. Were they made for us? No. Do we fit in them sometimes? Is it comfortable to get into or out of them? No. At least not in my experience. So yeah, just something to think about today. Just, you know, if you're on the thinner side, or if you are a small fat or even a mid fat, most mid fats I think kind of do contemplate what life would be like if they were larger than they are. But still, if you are smaller than a size 24, I challenge you today, everything that you do, try to look at it as, if I were larger, or if I were shorter, or if I had any type of disability that kept me from doing this specific task as easily as I am, like what would that be like? Just, you know, kind of put yourself in someone else's shoes for the day, and just see. I'm not saying that you need to pity the whole world, or that everyone has it quote unquote harder than you, or that you have it easy. What I'm saying is just take a chance today to look at the things that you do and the experiences that you have throughout the day, and how those might be different. Ooh, Duncan has a dip in the road. How those might be different if you lived in a different body. Not in a different body like most of us fat people think about it. How would this be easier if I was smaller? Not that. It's, how would this be different for me if I had a disability, or if I had, if I was too short. Not that too short's a disability, but I'm interested, and I would love to hear from y'all, like what you might have encountered that you do every day that seems relatively simple to you, that you think might be an issue for others. Have a good one.